Well, like you said, there's another part to this entity, and most of the time when you're looking for home ownership or investments in the property, an agent basically can find you the property or find you the investment property. So we're going to bring in a good friend of mine and also a business associate of mine. We're going to bring in Angela Harris.
Hey guys.
Hey Angela, how you
Angela,
doing?
what's up?
Hi,
How you doing?
hi. Thank you
Good, good.
guys for inviting me on. I just want to say
Yeah.
how much I love the program and how much I appreciate the voice you bring to the media because we don't hear enough from responsible Black men who we talk about not existing. But it's great every week to see four of you guys, and I'm very, very happy to be here.
Angela, thank you. I'm going to cash app you your money in about 15 minutes. All right? But no, me and Angela have known each other for a little while now, numerous years, and we've done business together, and we're also friends. I consider Angela a friend. Angela, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and where you work.
Okay, I'm a residential realtor. I work a lot with mostly residential real estate, a little commercial here and there, but mostly residential real estate. And it's a passion of mine because home ownership is the way middle income people traditionally build wealth. And you know that African Americans, we don't have home ownership as much as the other white America does. And that's been systemic racism in the housing market that has kept that way for a long time. So I started in the industry about 13 years ago. I'm from a Jamaican West Indian background where everybody's like, oh gosh, you got to own a home. You got to own a home. So it's really a passion for me. I started when, a little before the mortgage crisis. So I've worked with a lot of distressed homeowners when they short saled their home, and a lot of first-time home buyers because the market was very different then. Right now, I'm working with HomeSmart, and our office is out of Freeport. And that's just a little bit about my background. And being a realtor is really a lot about working with people to achieve that goal, because buying a home is not like buying shoes. You don't just run out there trying a few shoes and find one that fit and you're good to go. It's a process. And of course, it starts with the lender and then with the realtor. And then we navigate you through all the other steps in becoming a homeowner.
Yeah. And Angela's based out of Freeport, Long Island. So she's at Freeport. So people in different states, we have people on. But she's Freeport, Long Island. Somebody's asking, yes. And Corey's out of California. He could do mortgages in 48 out of 50 states. He can't do New York and Hawaii. Am I right, Corey?
Yes, right now.
Okay.
That is correct.
Right now. Okay.
Yeah, right now.
So, yeah, sorry. I just want to clarify that for everyone.
I've done loans in New York. That's how I met Damon. But
Yep.
right now, the company I'm with right now, we don't do it.
So Angela, what should people look for in an agent when they start shopping for in a home?
Well, knowledge, somebody that really has been around and know the market and can really educate you about the process. If you meet an agent and they don't want to sit down with you and do like a buyer's consultation and tell you, what the steps are and what to expect and educate you along the process, then that's probably an agent that you might want to think about working with. A lot of times different buyers will come to me and from their experience, like when I met Rodney, he'd already been a homeowner. So he didn't need or require that kind of buyer's consultation. But I work a lot with first-time home buyers, and they come in totally not knowing anything about how to navigate this path to home ownership. So they really need someone that can help them go through the process, because it is a process that involves whether the inspection, the attorneys, the lenders, the appraisers, everything. So you really want to get them to understand what's ahead and to make sure that they don't fall into any of these pitfalls. And I give them a whole little homeowner package guide to tell them what steps not to take that will prevent them from owning a home. I'm sure that the lender can tell you already that sometimes people will start on the process and do something crazy, like going out to lease a car and totally changing their debt to income ratio, and now they can't qualify. So you want to be able to educate someone before the process starts so that they don't trip themselves up along the way.
This question is for Corey and Angela, and I think I come from grandparents and great grandparents that were owners, but I noticed today, and you can tell me if you've experienced this, when it comes to buying a home or getting qualified for a mortgage, so many of our people just, one, feel intimidated. Secondly, almost feel like the seller is doing them a favor. They're willing to do anything to get into the home. Have you been in a situation where you need to tell people, this is not the time, you need to take a moment, you need to get it together first? Because there's some people I think would take anything just to qualify, would take anything just to get a home. And we almost feel like, you know, we forget that we're the customer. There should be a value in us. But some people will do anything to try to just say, I own a home, even if it's the wrong position.
That's why the consultation is so key, because in different markets, different things are important. Sometimes it might be the right attitude. I just want to get into a house. It depends on what's going on in the market. It depends on what type of home it is, where it is. So knowing that information is really key before you know what attitude to bring to the market. As I said, when I started, the market was completely different. It was a buyer's market. We were incentivizing buyers to buy, and homeowners were in a rough place where there was like 20 buyers per one house, you know. So, well, there were like 20 houses and one buyer. So
Right.
it was different. Now it's the flip. So now you have to know what the market is. You have to know each individual person's scenario. You know, first-time home buyers are going to be different than second-time home buyers. They're going to be investors that are going to be different from an owner-occupied buyer. So every situation, you really should have someone who has experience navigating all those situations, because you might come in over eager, or you might come in not eager enough because you don't know what's going on in the market. So it's like anything else. If you're a dishwasher, you're gonna wash dishes better than anybody else. Then a corporate attorney is gonna come in and be fumbling with the sponges and the dish rag. But you talking to someone who does it all the time and can really kind of give you that information. And you go with your gut too. You sat down with 2 or 3 realtors and they're talking a lot of stuff, but you're not feeling that they're being giving you information that's important or educating you about the process. Then you know they're really just trying to close a deal and make a commission, and they don't really care.
So somebody has a good question. Somebody asked, I'm sorry, real quick. Somebody asked a question that says, should a seller also look for the same qualities in the agent? The seller.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, a seller as well as a buyer is going to look for the same information in an agent. I mean, if you're an experienced agent and you know the market, you're going to be able to help that seller just as you're going to be able to help that buyer. Because I've worked with Rodney, I respect him. I know he is very well informed and everything. But in the bottom line, Rodney will say to me, well, Angela, what do you think? What should the price be? You know, because of the fact that he knows I'm doing it all the time. I'm the one that's looking at the changes in the market. I'm the one that gets on MLS every day, which is the multiple listing service. So I can tell him, this is what's going to happen with this property. This is where I think you should buy. Then he uses his information. The buyer, the seller uses their information about what their goals are, so that we can come to a meeting of the minds and move forward, so that everybody can, you know, come to a satisfactory conclusion, either selling the home or buying the home.
And Kevin, if you guys don't mind, can you guys hear me still?
Yeah, we hear you, Corey. Go ahead.
I think in Kevin, to piggyback
Kelvin. See,
Kelvin.
somebody else did it. Somebody
No,
else did
because
it.
it's too small. My screen is so small.
Nah, it's cool. Go ahead, Corey.
Sorry about that. But
No.
It's a running joke with us, man.
oh, okay.
It
So
ain't gonna go away either.
what I have seen too often, especially with first-time home buyers, especially when you guys are in New York, I'm out in California, LA County. So these are 2 very expensive areas to live.
Very expensive areas.
Very expensive areas to live, right? So what I find sometimes with persons who look like us, okay, is where they want to buy. Well, let me say this. They live in a certain neighborhood, and then they want to buy a home, but they don't want to buy in the neighborhood where they're currently renting. and that might be the only place they qualify to buy. So they stay in this rut. It's like a dog chasing its tail, right? And so your comment was person's rushing because they get so excited, just want to buy something just to get into the game. I typically don't see it here in LA County because they almost it's like they got a champagne taste on a beer budget.
That's right.
Right. And it doesn't mean that they can't get in the game, and it doesn't mean they can't build their wealth, but they're so afraid to buying in certain neighborhoods because they have this thing that, well, I don't want to buy over there. I don't want to buy over there. And I'm looking at them thinking, you live there now. You know, when I was working at a certain bank, because I had 16 years in traditional banking before I became, a direct lender. I would sit in certain neighborhoods, and they come in and want to buy a home, but they say, "Oh, I don't want to buy over where I'm looking. I'm like, but you live here now, right?" Which tells me you can live here, but the mentality is they don't want to buy there. They're okay with renting. They don't want to buy. So it's frustrating to that knowledge, and this is where where I would advise them and give them some tips and say, listen, you can buy here now and sell later and move on up. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to die here, but you got to start somewhere. And this is where I would refer them to a agent, to an Angela, who might give them that same inclusion and say, listen, you're renting right now and getting someone else wealthy. Why not get in that game and get some wealth right now? So that's where we just have to educate people and tell them, don't be afraid to buy in these certain neighborhoods because someone else is. And guess what? Someone else is, and they're getting all that wealth.
Angela, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was saying, he touched on exactly what I was going to say, is that a lot of times, yes, it is important to get in the game. It's not necessarily going to be your final property, but you have to start, and you have to realize that you're going to build equity rather than paying somebody's rent over, their mortgage over and over again. I have people who just kept pushing off because they couldn't find the neighborhood they wanted, or they couldn't find the exact house they wanted. Now, 3 years down the line, they've been priced out of the market because you waited and you waited and waited for this ideal that's not within your budget. And now the house that you would have paid $350 for is now $450, and you ended up having to buy it because you're just at this point now where you must buy in order to be able to afford, because now your income is not going up as fast as the prices of the home.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Angela, you think it's a good time for people to start looking for a house now? The interest rate makes it really, really a great time to buy a house, but I know that there's different type of markets, and we're in a seller's market right now. Correct.
We're in a very strong seller's market. So I have a lot of very, very frustrated buyers because the competition is so stiff. You go into the market right now and you think you have a $450 budget, so you go to look at a house that's $440. That house is going to go for $460.
Correct.
And so you're not gonna really be looking for, if you have a $500,000 budget, make yourself look at houses at $470. Otherwise, you're not going to be competitive. And be sure that you have everything in order. I mean, you need to already have your pre-approval. You need to have already talked to Corey and make him aware that you're looking for a house, and he's already qualified you and made you a strong prospective buyer in the market, because it is a strong seller's market. But of course, it's a great time to buy a house. The interest rates, prices aren't going to drop. Buy. If you can't afford to buy, buy. If you can't afford to buy, get ready. Start saving, putting that money away. You want to be able to raise that credit score. The higher the credit score, the lower your debt, the higher your saving amount. You can come into the market and buy something that's going to appreciate and build your wealth. But you have to be aware of what's going on in the market. You can't come in, okay, I'm going to look at a $500,000 house and my budget is $500,000, but you haven't discussed with a realtor or your lender what the taxes on that house need to be. and what your closing costs need to be, what's your cash on hand. You have to come into the market prepared, because it's not a forgiving market. And if you do something, you're going to just be spinning your wheels, chasing your tail. You're not going to accomplish your goal.
And Angela, correct me if you agree with me, if you have a different opinion, because I get asked this question a lot too, especially during the holidays. Is it a good time to buy right now? And so one of the things that come to mind is the holidays bring a lot of people on vacation. And so I end up doing well in the last November and December because I continue to work through the holidays. It's just always been my thing. But then at the same time, now you guys have different weather out there in New York too. So what happens during the holidays, there's not a lot of people looking to buy because their minds are somewhere else because it's the holidays. And then those who have their homes listed to sell, their needs to want to hurry up and sell might get greater. So it might be beneficial to a buyer to go out and buy during the holidays for a number of reasons. One, there's not a lot of people, not a lot of buyers competing with you. It's less because it's a holiday season. You don't have a lot of buyers competing with you. And then second, those who are selling their property during the holidays, they might have a better incentive to want to get it sold during the holidays for tax purposes.
Right.
So don't discount because it's a holiday season. Is it a good time to buy right now? It is still a seller's market, but it's going to go towards the buyers right around this Christmas time because of what I just mentioned. Holidays, people on vacation, not a lot of people out there buying in the wintertime. Angela, correct me if you agree or disagree.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. I always tell buyers, don't let a little cold and snow stop you, because this is the best time, because the ones that got stopped are the ones that won't be able to reap the benefits. If you make that little extra push to go out there, you know, it's dark at 5 o'clock here. So people are like, I'm not going to go look at this house after work. I'll wait till the weekend. If they'll allow you to see that house during the week, you might want to make that extra effort to go and see it before they get 3 other offers and then you're on top of a pile. While maybe you gave them that offer right away and they were like, let's just snap this up and move forward. And then everybody else will come in as a backup offer. So you have to use every advantage you can get in this buyer's market. So if it means looking in what's considered our off-peak real estate season, to keep looking as fervently as you did in the summer and the springtime, that might be to your advantage.
Angela, how hard is it now for investors to find properties?
It's very, very hard, because even the banks who have done some foreclosures, because it's the seller's market and because we've had such a steep incline in prices, it just shot up over the last 2 years very much. So they are fixing up the houses themselves and then selling them. They're not even letting them stay as distressed properties. They're taking the time to renovate those foreclosures. You'll see renovated foreclosures coming from the bank now.
Yep.
So, and then, you know, they have the auctions. Everybody have the online auctions, and they're usually going for cash, or they have the properties that are tenant occupied that are, if you're not a very experienced investors, you're not going to want to buy a property that's tenant occupied and then having to worry about evicting that tenant, especially during the time of COVID, where, you know, nobody was getting evicted. I'm not even sure it's going to start again in January with the spike going the way it is. So it's harder now to find an investment property. Your best bet is to know somebody who is, like, I know a few people in my neighborhood that they're elderly. I know somebody broke a hip and something happened to somebody. So I might talk to the son who comes by and say, oh, are you guys going to sell the house? The house might not have been in the best condition. They don't want to fix it up, but they're going to move their mom, you know, someplace closer to them. You say, well, I have a cash buyer, or I have a buyer who you don't have to do anything. A lot of these iBuyers or cash offer, instant offer buyers are all the big thing now. And that's what the investors are doing, because now the prices are so high, they're going to make a good return on their investment.
Cash is king, right?
Cash is king.
Yeah. So Angela, people asking. Yeah, this has been enlightening. People asking, do you only do business in Freeport?
Oh, no, I
New
mean,
York City?
I do business everywhere. I am a neighborhood realtor for the most part in the Nassau County South Shore area, but I sell in Queens and in Brooklyn, and Suffolk County. I don't do anything really upstate or, Manhattan and that kind of area, or even the Bronx, but for the most part, Queens, Nassau, Brooklyn, Suffolk.
And Corey, people asking, when were you able to do business in New York? Because they like.
Hopefully shortly. I'll look into it. So I know how to do loans in New York. It's just at the company that I work under, New American Funding, right now. That's just one of the states where we're not licensed to do business in that, in Hawaii. Why, I don't know. I can take a guess, but New York has some very unique nuances with their mortgage tax and consolidated extended mortgage agreement. That's one thing aspect of it. Different counties record their deeds differently. You guys have these are not bad things, they're just nuances to that state. So but hopefully, just check with me. As we were speaking, I made my Instagram page public, and I'll probably do so with my Facebook for a little while too. I'll do that too. So I get it's only private just because I get all these calls from different companies, headhunters, and I'm not bragging. It's just is what it is, and I just get tired of all these influxes. They're always looking, and I'm like, I just rather service my clients and keep it pushing. But hopefully shortly.
Yeah.
Hopefully shortly.
And if anybody's looking, also like Rodney and I do business with Links Mortgage out in Long Island, and Rodney we both have this lady, the owner of the company, Shabana's information. So if anybody's looking for a mortgage and thing, just contact me. You can find me, DemonPearson@gmail.com and stuff like that. So.
And Angela, you want to give out your information as well? Maybe a website, social media, a phone number?
Yeah, you can probably find me on all of the social media platforms and Zillow as Angella Sells Homes. But I'm Angella Harris with HomeSmart. My number is 516-506-8773. If you can throw it in the chat for anybody. But it's Angella Sells Homes on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Easy to find, pretty much.
And I'm just as easy to find as well. My name is Corey McManus. It's Kori. Last name McManus. M as in Mary, C as in Charles, M as in Mary, ANUS. That's Corey McManus. You can find me on Facebook that way, and also on Instagram. My number is 323-228-0623. I've had the same phone number for 15 plus years. Well, no, it's been longer than that, so I'm not going to change it. So, but and I do answer and I do respond to texting as well. So I know that's a lot of times you can just ask your question, because if I don't recognize the numbers, a lot of times I won't answer, but I do check my voicemails frequently and all the time, and I will get back with you. And if you have a question, you can text me and I can answer your question, call you back. But either of those platforms, Corey McManus at Facebook or Corey McManus on Instagram. And also, if you send me an email, I can also direct you to my website, which is at New American Funding /Corey McManus. But if you email me or text me or call me, and I'll give you that all my contact information. So I'm easy to find as well.
And Corey's always willing to help out people when they go through loans with other companies. I always had him on the phone. My old supervisor, this guy picks up the phone for me any time of the night. So that's my dog right there, man. So
Yeah.
Angela, Corey, thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. So many questions were coming in and stuff like that. It was great. The biggest thing our community don't have is information. That's the biggest thing we don't have. That's the goal. That is the goal. Having that information. Once now people know how to navigate. So we truly appreciate you both, Angela and Corey. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nate, anytime.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Thanks
guys.
again, guys, and thanks for
thank
what
you.
you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Angela, your check is in the mail. It's coming.
Oh, let me give you my Cash App information.
I'll give you your cut. All right.
You guys have a good one.
All right, man. Peace, brother. Peace.
Man,
No,
I
that
was
was
sitting
good,
in the
man.
cut just soaking it up, man. You know,
Yeah,
that
and
was
that's a
good.
lot of great information.
Yeah, that was
Real,
good, man. Information is key, man. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
I didn't learn about 401k stuff till I was hanging with this dude from FedEx. So like he gave me the jewel, and then like you go run after that. So that's the main thing. Like young people need to hear this information instead of just listening to
Yeah.
other BS. This is
Really,
this is good talk, right? And hearing
Incredible.
hearing it from people that look like us and making it real simple.
Yes.
That's why a lot of people saying like they put it right there where the goats can get it. So that was really dope. It was really
Yeah,
dope.
yeah.